Hello! We would love to take this opportunity to wish you a very happy new year for 2021 from the UNC Kenan-Flagler STAR program. This message brings you some information about the STAR program, including some introductions from the leadership team, some key details around the STAR methodology that we use, details around the timeline, and finally, we thought we would share some guidance on how to be an effective corporate partner based upon feedback from executives who have gone before you, serving as STAR corporate partners. So first, let's do some introductions about the STAR program. My name is Karen Cochran, the Executive Director of STAR, and I have a fabulous team in Dr. Julia Cruz and Catherine Satellina. Julia has been leading the contract process, so we appreciate your support of helping us finalize the non-disclosure agreements and the service agreements. Julia has a phenomenal background in global business development and has a passion for teaching leadership and communication skills. Catherine Satellino is our program assistant, and she's an excellent communicator. You've probably already received emails from her. She will be leading the midterm and final student evaluations and will also be sending the invoices out to you. You are welcome to reach out to any of us along the STAR journey. Thanks again for your engagement and overall partnership. STAR includes an incredible team of faculty advisors, which we call FAs. Each STAR project has one of these experienced faculty assisting the student first-year MBA project leader. Our faculty include former consultants from Accenture, Bain, Deloitte, and McKinsey, as well as executives from major Fortune 500 organizations. Some of them are full-time faculty here at Kenan-Flagler, while others are still working or are engaging with our student teams during their well-deserved season of retirement. They collectively have incredible backgrounds and support one another and the teams throughout the STAR season. It's always a pleasure to announce our STAR corporate partners, what we call CPs. During a global pandemic, we especially thank each of you for engaging with the UNC Kenan-Flagler STAR program for the spring of 2021. We will have 23 corporate partners across multiple industries this season. While we regret we're not able to gather in the Rizzo Executive Center in Chapel Hill like we traditionally do in January, we hope you will join us on the morning of Friday, January 22nd at 8:30 for our kickoff session, where we will gather all of our corporate partners this season. And if your schedule allows, join us again for the happy hour, virtual that is, at 5 o'clock on that same Friday, even if your launch date is on another day. This year we have 17 projects for our full-time MBA students. These teams have 4 MBA or potentially 5 MBA students and also 2 undergraduate business students per team. We are thrilled with our project leaders who we selected from an application and interview process. These students are already excellent leaders, but if I can quote a colleague of mine, we believe we can also help them get even better, and you are a part of that process. We hope you enjoy engaging with your project leader. In addition, we have 6 STAR projects filled with 6 or 7 working professional MBA students. These students are from both our MBA at UNC program as well as our executive program, where students are pursuing their MBA on the weekend or evening. Before COVID, these teams pursued STAR virtually, which we have been doing since 2014. This year, as you know, all of our STAR teams are STAR virtual teams. Our MBA at UNC program is a top ranked in the world, and before this year, we were the only school offering virtual experiential learning projects for these MBA students. We are thankful to have had such virtual experience, especially when in March of 2020, all 23 of our teams pivoted to work remotely and produced excellent final presentations for their corporate partners in May. STAR is like a mini consulting firm, and we try to teach consulting to our students. But I want you to know that not all of our students will go into consulting, but they do want to learn about the industry, and ultimately, they want to perfect how to do problem solving and work efficiently and effectively on teams. So we articulate what STAR looks like as a parallel to consulting firms. So you have engaged a project manager as your project leader, and they will be leading a team of MBA and undergraduate students. My leadership team and the faculty will serve as the leaders of the program, so feel free to reach out to your faculty advisor or anybody in the STAR program if you have questions along the way. But hopefully you will engage with your project leader primarily throughout the journey. So every consulting firm and most large companies have their own methodologies. The methods are typically very similar but have different vernacular and emphasis on certain things. We at the STAR program use Team Focus as our methodology, and we supplement it with other change management and project management methodologies as well. Team Focus is from the McKinsey Engagement, but written by our colleague, Dr. Paul Friga. It emphasizes the value of teamwork and uses the acronym of TEAM so that our students really work on how to talk, meaning how to communicate well, how to understand the strengths and weaknesses of everybody on the program, how to evaluate their progress and their motivations. We also use focus, how to frame, organize, collect, understand, and synthesize throughout the process. We use a hypothesis-driven methodology to help our students not boil the ocean, but really focus on solutions and try to prove or disprove those solutions with data, and then be able to tell an effective story. This is a pictorial way of displaying the STAR process from the beginning to the end. It highlights phase 0, when students will be thinking about your business challenge and reading up to learn about your industry. We actually got our students to start thinking about your project in December. They will then in January work through a brainstorming session to disaggregate the problem to establish hypotheses. The students will go through the research part, conducting both primary and secondary research to prove or disprove these hypotheses to eventually identify potential solutions, what we call recommendations. We also emphasize in our training how to tell an executive story through PowerPoint. So over the course of the semester, they will really be working on fine-tuning all of these skills. In addition, STAR trains our project leaders, who are our first-year MBAs, to focus on relationship management, project management, which is to plan with the end in mind, and to develop thought leadership so they can produce fact-based, creative, innovative recommendations for you. We also want to encourage them to think about, are these recommendations able to be implemented? What are the risks? What's the impact? What's the timeline it would take? So we encourage you along the way to share information that will help these students give you a recommendation that you actually can take and run with come May. Finally, our students are guided by the Kenan-Flagler core values of excellence, leadership, integrity, community, teamwork, and inclusion. They take the confidentiality of your business challenge very seriously, and these students will pursue excellence in all that they do. We have selected a very diverse team for each one of you, and we will train them to work together efficiently and effectively. In order to build these teams, behind the scene, I just wanted to share with you that we use various tools, including GlobeSmart, an excellent communication tool that helps our teams understand their communication styles and how to work within the diversity of the teams. STAR will also help the teams leverage the virtual engagement with guidance on how to build a strong team, what we call Force Family Fun. Studies have shown that there are great ways to engage with others and that teams are starving for meaningful interactions. So we'll focus on skill-based training, value-based ideas to work together, or overall cultural-based interactions. We hope come May you will see that they truly are an efficient and effective team. And finally, I'd like to just share some corporate partner guidance that we've received over the years from our prior STAR corporate partners. You are 23 companies that have helped us reach over 420 STAR projects since 2005. So we've asked a lot of those executives over the years, what would you tell a new corporate partner on how to make the most of your STAR experience? So I'd like to share the calendar of events to give you a little more guidance. Our student teams will produce 4 deliverables for you, starting with the first kickoff deck during launch weekend, so be ready. Many of you are meeting with our students on Friday, January 22nd, while some of you have chosen Saturday, January 23rd, or another date. We hope you will target 2 3-hour sessions for that day. The students will bring a few slides to share, to introduce themselves, and to communicate their initial thoughtfulness around your business challenge. We hope you will bring some background information and be willing to engage with our students to make the project come to life during that launch day. They will then focus on their primary and secondary research, so they may be asking you for names of people to interview or any thoughts around additional data they should look for. They will deliver a preliminary findings deck in early March, eventually a rough draft, or what we call a storyline, sometime in April, and then a final presentation in late April or early May. Behind the scenes, we will be supporting these teams doing what we call green team, red team, and blue team reviews to help prepare them for the meetings that they have with you. We encourage you to invite a larger audience to your final presentation, and the students will ask for those dates at the launch in order to plan. We recognize in the beginning the students are new at this process, but we hope you will see their development and contribute to their growth. And we ultimately want you to receive significant value in the end. What motivates our students the most is that they truly are bringing value to your Corporate Partner Challenge. Another way to help us along the way is making sure that you take time to give the students feedback during what we call the TLC, the Teamwork Leadership Checkpoint. STAR is a credit-bearing course, a 4.5 action-based learning course, and it's important that we receive your feedback at both the midterm and the final so that we can share that information with our students. It's a survey that will come in an email from Catherine Satalino, and we really appreciate your engagement with this process. As you can see, the students are evaluated both on your feedback as well as the faculty feedback, but most importantly, they also are evaluated on their peer feedback and the completion of their deliverables. Most of our students are not focused necessarily on the grade, but on bringing value and learning along the way. But we do have this mechanism in place to keep everybody engaged and focused on the end goal. We encourage our project leaders, called PLs, as I've mentioned, to focus on excellent communications, but also to consider the recommendations should be complete, credible, important, and actionable solutions. And so as you give your feedback, both in the calls with your PLs as well as through these surveys, definitely mention if you have concerns along the way. So over the years, our former corporate partners have shared their top 10 list on how to be a successful corporate partner. So allow me to share some insight with the hope that this will help you. First of all, specify the key question during that launch weekend. Really talk through the scope of work. We emphasize the value of the key question. So be specific. Make sure it's relevant and important to you, that it's not redundant, and that it really will bring value. We do recognize that sometimes it's important to look at the scope of work. You don't want it to be too narrow that you're disappointed, but not too broad that it becomes general and not manageable for the students. We share this information, and we'll talk about it again because we want you to understand the approach that we use. It's a hypothesis-driven approach, and if you want to learn more about team focus, please let us know. We hope that you will engage with our students and participate as a thought leader. They are learning as much from you as they are from the research and brainstorming that they do around your project. So we appreciate your engagement, and they are willing to learn as much as you are willing to share. Provide some sound data. We have found over the years that teams wait too long before they release data. That's why we jump on the confidentiality agreement early, the NDA, so that you're comfortable and engaging with our students in a meaningful way by sharing the data. If the students are excited about additional research and you think it will be helpful, definitely We hope you will support them. They're willing to do surveys and focus groups, and they will talk to you about those. At launch weekend, they're going to want you to plan out meetings in advance, get them on your calendar. I may have shared with you before, but I actually was a STAR corporate partner myself, so I was the client, and I remember putting those meetings on my calendars, and some days I wasn't sure it was convenient, but I was really glad I stuck with them, even if it's just a 5-minute checkpoint or a 30-minute discussion. We really hope you'll plan those meetings in advance, as well as those 3 additional deliverables after launch weekend. We hope that you will include other participants as it seems suitable. Provide timely feedback. Don't wait for the surveys. If you've got feedback for your project leader, or shoot an email to the team if you've got new ideas. That is so helpful. This project goes very quickly, and we want to make sure that we maximize your experience. Communicate constantly. Our students are in that millennial generation where they're used to communicating frequently. Get in a regular cadence with how to communicate, and they are willing to receive any messages that you have to share. We really want them to bring value to your project, so consider recommendations for implementation. They do not want their final deliverable to be on the bookshelf, if you will, electronically. They really want to bring value to you, so be thoughtful in your engagement with them on reality check that are these recommendations suitable for organization, and what do we need to do to make sure we can implement. Finally, we just say pay the invoices quickly. As we've shared with you, we send out our invoices in February. We don't expect you to pay until after the projects are complete, but we're a June 30th fiscal, so we'd love to collect before June 15th if at all possible. Again, we so appreciate your partnership, and let us know if anything we can do to smooth out the process along the way. Finally, I'd like to just say Happy New Year. We just, again, thank you for the engagement. We hope you'll see us on the morning of Friday, January 22nd, or at the happy hour at 5 o'clock on that same day. We hope that you will engage with our students in a meaningful way. Prepare for that kickoff deck by having some data to share. Roll up your sleeves, spend the day as best you can with our students. We're trying to maximize the experience since we're not in person and we don't get to dine out. That's always a highlight of the day, is when we can have dinner with our corporate partners on Franklin Street. But hopefully we can work through this and have a great virtual experience. And again, thank you so much for the partnership with STAR.